Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're gonna have a look into Ableton Push 3 input output. So as you can see here, I have a couple of friends, I wanna connect it, and we're gonna go over how to connect stuff via MIDI, in, out, USB, CV. If you're interested just in one specific connection, you can just check in the timeline. And yeah, let's jump into it. So here we have our default set in Ableton standalone. You can see it's just connected to power and the out is going into my RME interface to record it. And just let's have a quick overview of all of the input output. So you have your two master out, which are now going into Ableton. Then you have two audio input. Then you have ADAT, which allow you to have 8 external input and 8 external output. You have a MIDI out, MIDI in, USB-A, your USB-C to connect to your computer and be in controller mode. And then you have pedal input 1 and 2 that here we're gonna use as a CV out and then the headphone out. So I've just moved my push a little bit to make space for some friends. And we're gonna take the Microfreak and we're gonna use MIDI out for now. So the idea is to send MIDI out from the push 3 into the Microfreak and we're gonna take back the audio in. So I'm just gonna connect the Microfreak with USB, this is just for power. Now for the MIDI output, which is here, you cannot go with your classic MIDI cable. You need an adapter which looks like this. Unfortunately, it's not provided with Ableton Push 3, which is kind of a shame. You can buy it on their website or you can just buy it somewhere else. And so we're just gonna put it in our MIDI out here. And then to go into the Microfreak, I need the exact same kind of cable. So I have another cable here, which is the same, which you have MIDI on one side and this jack here. So we're just gonna connect this like this and plug into MIDI in. Now we need to take the audio back into the Ableton Push and you just need a classic jack cable. I use this kind of cable which are usually for pedal, but they are short, and to avoid to get too messy on the camera, I'm just gonna use this one, which gonna go into the audio input 1 here. So yeah, now we are connected. We're gonna send MIDI through the MIDI out into the MIDI in of the Microfreak, take the audio out back into the audio input in of the push 3. So the best way to do that, I'm gonna delete all the track. We have a MIDI track here and we're gonna use an external instrument. So you go to your instrument and you have external instrument and you load it. So you want to send your MIDI to obviously your MIDI out here, channel 1. We still don't hear nothing, which is normal. And now we need to select the audio from. So here I plug it into the audio input 1. So I'm just gonna select audio input 1 and now I have sound. So you can sequence whatever you like. Now here it's working. I will do one thing. I will click here 2 times usually, or once, it depends, until you are in the input output section. And this is where you have your monitoring, input, output and things. Here it's in all in. So that means any incoming MIDI signal is gonna trigger your Microfreak. If you just have the Microfreak connected, might be fine. But if you start to add other external sequencer or stuff going inside, it might create some problem. So for now, I'm just gonna put push 3. So this way, I can press here while the sequence is playing. So you can see now nothing is happening. It's not playing. And this is something I struggle a lot to understand why it was not working, because monitoring is in auto, which means that it can play my sequence, but I should be able to play my notes as well. And the reason why is because the track is not armed. On the computer, I think it's armed. When you select the track, it's armed automatically. Here, it doesn't work like this. I don't know if there is a way to do that. Let me know if there is in the comment. But here you can just do like press rec and select your track. And now you can see there is this little circle. And now it's armed. So now you can have your sequence and play with your push in the same time. All right, that was for the MIDI out. Pretty straightforward. Now MIDI in. So for the MIDI in, I'm gonna use a good friend of mine, which is the Torso T1. I'm gonna put it right here. So one of the use cases you could do is to use this sequencer to sequence a drum rack inside Ableton. So same story here. To connect, you need to MIDI out from here into MIDI in, and you need the same type of cable, which are like this with adapter and the MIDI cable. And again, here MIDI in. And MIDI out from torso. Here we're gonna create a new track. We're gonna select new MIDI track, and we're gonna use kind of like classic 909 core kit. And now if I press play on my torso, cool. Now again, you might go into your input output just to make sure that it's not all in and it's just the MIDI push 3 which is coming in. I would say monitor it in anyway because you're not gonna do any other kind of things. Now you might don't have this, you need to go in settings and in MIDI and make sure that in input you have track and sync, and output track and sync as well. Okay, that's cool. So now you can see that obviously they are not synchronized because it's just the MIDI out of the torso into the push. There is no push, is not sending signal to the torso to sync. So you have different way to do that. The torso have a link function. So if you go in your settings and you go to statue, you have the link syncs here. So you can select on, play sync, and it will appear one when it recognizes the torso. You can see it recognize it. So now it should launch the sequencer when I launch here as well, and stop when I stop. Now if your sequencer doesn't have link, another way to do that is using CV, and we come into the next one, which is using the pedal input 1 and 2 as a CV out. So in order to do that, you need this type of cable, breakout cable, where you have the jack here and 2 mini jack here. So we're gonna plug it into the pedal input 1, and I'm just gonna connect 2 cables here. Now we want to send clock to the torso. So how do you know which one is the clock, which one is the transport? Well, we're gonna go into add a device, and we're gonna go to our pack and CV tools, and you have a push 3 preset. That's what you're gonna need to use. And you can see here you have push 3 clock transport CV1. So that means that it's gonna send clock and transport to CV1. The reason why you have all of these presets is because if you use like the device like this, if you load this one, you cannot select the output that you want. So in order to work, they created preset. You can create your own preset as well, but you need to create in Ableton, like on your computer, and save it and put it on your library, on your push, and it will work. But yeah, so here I'm using the pedal input 1, so you need the CV1, and I'm gonna load it. Now, if to know, for example, which one is your clock, which one is your transport, you can check in your Ableton. You also have the push preset, and you can see that they use the clock, which is track 5, and transport, which is track 6, and for the pedal 2, it will be track 7 and 8. This is good to know later on if you want to make your own preset with LFO or trigger or pitch CV. But yeah, here the black will be our clock, and the red is the transport. This is because the black would be like the left one, so it's 5. Red would be the right one, so 6. So the black to clock and the red to reset. So here on the torso, so black as a clock and the red as a reset. Now let's see what happened when I press play. Nothing is happening. Oh, that's because I need to launch this one. You can see there is some problem with the speed, so you can change the division. And if you put 1/8, you can hear the synchro. I left it because this is like a metronome, and you can hear the synchro. It's not too bad. Obviously, you might keep in mind that it's not especially the push 3, it's maybe this as well, which can add a little bit of latency. One of the problems right now, there is, when I'm filming this video, there is no way to kind of delay compensate like in Ableton Live, so that can be a problem. But yeah, there is plenty of way you see of using a CV. You can use the LFO envelope follower. So here I've used it to control the clock of the sequencer, but obviously it works as well with modular. Now let's talk about USB. You have a USB-A port here that you can use either to control stuff inside push, or again to send MIDI from push to your MIDI controller. So I have this MIDI controller. It's a FaderFox UC4. It's pretty cool. I really love to use it. It's great because it's got some fader, some encoder, and I'm gonna plug it into the USB-A. All right, so the idea is to use the FaderFox to control stuff inside the standalone push. So as for now, there is no like kind of MIDI learn, so you cannot really like, if you just plug it like this, you cannot really map things that way like you can do in Ableton. But there is a way around. What you can do, it's for example have you session inside Ableton, so in controller mode. So that's what I did. I created this session on my computer with the controller mode, and then what I've done is I've done the MIDI mapping inside Ableton, so with the MIDI learn, and I was for example a low cut, and I was pressing this button for the low cut. And when you do that and you save your project and then you transfer the same project into the push standalone, it saved all of the MIDI mapping. And this is pretty cool because it means that now, for example, if I go on the master, you can see I have an EQ8 and I can activate, deactivate the EQ8 with that. Here I have a kind of a washout effect that I can control with this controller. And for example, on the hats, I have a drum rack here where I have different mute. You can see I can mute and mute the different hats. And that's pretty cool because I can just have my low cut, have my washout effect, and then muting and unmuting. So this is something really cool. But what you can also do is basically if you want to plug a keyboard to play something, or if you want to have a different sequencer, you can plug it by USB, and we're gonna have a look into that. So I'm just gonna reset the project again, and we're gonna take the TRS that we're gonna connect by USB, TR6S, sorry, and we're gonna connect the audio as well. Okay, first you need on the TR6S, make sure you have the sync and everything, tempo sync in USB. Now again, you can use an external instrument to sync and control everything. And again, MIDI. So here you're gonna maybe need to go to MIDI. And here you're gonna have TR6 MIDI 1, and you're gonna make sure like track and sync are enabled as well. Same for the output. You need to make sure that's right. And when you go there and you select to TR6 MIDI, if I press play, I don't have any sound because I need to select my audio input, 1, 2, and now, okay, maybe we can crank up the tempo. So again, go in your input and output and make sure it's only the TR6S, otherwise it can mess around. For example, if I still have the torso, might the torso send some MIDI signal as well. But if I want to control, I can control with the push tree. If I move from push tree, I make sure the track is on by pressing on and the track, monitoring on, and I can play it. All right, now let's say I want to control the MIDI push with an external keyboard via USB. So I have the Microfreak here. You can see it's gonna be pretty easy. I'm just gonna delete the track here. You just have to select as input the Audioreakt Microfreak, select in. And now obviously we don't have nothing. We can add like, I don't know, any kind of scent. Just gonna load the default. And now you can use your MIDI controller to control your Ableton by USB. Again, you might need to go into MIDI and make sure when you go to the Audioreakt Microfreak, on the output track sync, maybe sometimes remote are activated. Same when you go to input track sync, remote are activated. And yeah, it should work. All right, so that was quite a complex one. Hope you could learn a few tricks here and there. Hope it's gonna be helpful to you in the future as well. If you wanna come back to the video to watch again a certain part, I will probably for sure do that. Thank you very much for watching and see you soon. Bye bye.